Welcome back, everybody, to the Blast R6 Major Manchester. I'm Milos, your host. With me is Fresh and Laxing. Joining us finally, welcome to the UK. It's absolutely not your first time in the country, but you're here, you're feeling it, you got some workouts in.
I was able to sleep in a little bit, catch up on the jet lag, so that was convenient. And then I'm coming into a game of a barn burner with SSG and ITB, so can't wait to get that started.
A lot to talk about here, so let's start off with our players. Of course, we'll be seeing them as they arrive into our arena. But the big question is here, ITB still untested, but Spacestation on the other side, like, they've had some major changes going into stage 1 of Manchester.
Yeah, I mean, the stage itself, it was a very tough one for them nonetheless. They did start out a little strong, but then they were falling short. And then it actually led them into a scenario that they had to play through the LCQs. Yep. And sure enough, they did grind their way through that LCQ, found themselves in that phase 1, and then clearly found success going through that phase 1 nonetheless.
And it looks like they're back. I mean, it looks like Iconic's back for sure. Don't know why he needs so many clothes on in such
very cold
it's
right
hot,
now.
It's hot out there. I don't
These
know
arrival shots are making it look like the UK is like paradise, by the way. But yeah, no, SSG were great through phase 1. I had the privilege of casting them 2 days ago. They got back-to-back 7-0s against Bleed to go through to phase 2, and I thought they were genuinely excellent.
Well, ITB on the other side, I mean, Jack, we kind of followed this team through, and their meteoric rise where, despite the fact that they're not maybe the best individual players together as a team, they look incredible.
We keep talking about this ITB team as a project, and this is all the way back, I think, probably before Kangaroo Kenny joined, but as Kangaroo Kenny joined, and the changes they were making in the team...
what did you just call him?
Kangaroo Kenny.
That's his name, Kangaroo Kenny.
The coach.
Not Kendrew.
No,
There's two Kenny.
I've not just made up a nickname for Kendrew.
No.
Okay. When Kangaroo Kenny joined in the coach, and then the player changes since, has been a project where they've got better and better and better. Was this major come probably one stage too early in my expectations for them? Yes, but they're going to take it into their stride and enjoy every second.
Let's take a look at our top 3 players from, well, stage 1. Let's put them up. Phase 1, actually. We got them up, and we're going to see here, it's Fultz up way higher. I mean, this man is on a different level, Lax.
So yeah, throughout stage 1, I was talking about Ashen a ton, and I was talking about Jack here and there. But now you're here at LAN, at the stage, at phase 1, and Fultz is putting up the numbers. This is the numbers that we used to see Fultz puts up way back in the day when he was playing those entry roles or playing those flex roles. Now he's doing that on a support role or a secondary support, and he's playing phenomenally. And this is so important for a pivotal piece such as Fultz to be putting up a performance like this with the likes of Ashen, with the likes of Jack as well, and having 3-star players shining. If they can continue that, I can see SSG going pretty far throughout these phases.
That's the big point for me. Any team that wants to go deep inside of a tournament, you can't just rely on 1 or 2 players. And I know that inside of the NAL specifically, Ashen was kind of the guy that SSG were relying on. Fultz kind of popping up, and J9 is consistent and probably one of the best LAN players in the world as well. If they've got 3 players who can all pop off inside of SSG, that basically is the ingredients for a team that could go deep into the tournament.
Our map bans, let's put them up on the screen. Of course, here in CG Sports, we function on a 9-map pool. And since this is a best of 1, teams will ban one after the other until we hit our final map in this lobby, and we'll get Consulate. All right, interesting. Why are you oohing here, Lax?
Because I talked to Call Out, and he specifically told me that he said it was going to be Consulate. And sure enough, we got Consulate. They got the exact map that they wanted. Call Out said they were looking for this map specifically. And this isn't a map also for ITB that's one of their best maps. I'd say it's a 50-50, but SSG does like this map. However, they might not be the best at it, but they do like this map, and they do know how to work the map in their favor.
ITB have been developing this map is what I would say. We saw them in EUL where they had to win 6 defenses in a row to beat Wolves because they couldn't attack it. That's been a big issue for them. They'll start out on the defense, so we'll feel comfortable, but yeah, it's a map that's in progress for them.
Many would say there may be a lot of surprises in this game, and I think there is a surprise in who is also casting this match. So let's say hello to our casters, and of course our surprise guest, it's Doke. He's lost the game and then he's immediately on the casters. What's going on here?
New career, right?
I've just thought, you know, can't play good, so here I am.
We just saw him
wandering around this morning, so we were like, come on.
I tell you, this is a nightmare for anyone that's not like a native English speaker. They've got to deal with your accent and now yours.
Scottish is the worst as well.
Oh,
I could really go full accent if you want.
Do that. Yeah, go on then.
No.
Maybe a little bit of stuff will go something on those lines. But yeah, Consulate, we were talking about this upstairs and you were saying, oh, I'm a genius on this map. Why are you a genius on this map?
I'm a genius on Consulate, guys. No, I mean, I was probably blowing my own whistle a little bit. But
I knew he'd mellow out his back down as soon as we got on air. I knew he would.
no, but I think for ITB, I think what Lax said, it's a middle map for them, right? And it's one of SSG's preference maps. So I don't know. I think this is going to be a good game, but I think the defense side from ITB is going to have a big play.
It makes me wonder whether ITB have leaned into it a little bit, though. If it's a preference map for SSG, you can kind of bait it a little bit. Like, look, we're just going to leave it there. You take it if you want it. It makes you feel like maybe they've prepared for it specifically.
I'm ready for some damage control here, I think. I think for SSG, like, I look back to them at recent events that we've worked at, and they've not quite been the potential was there, but not quite at the level to really go on and take on the world. And it feels here, at least, they've come in hard. They've been looking good so far. ITB are coming in fresh. They're the great unknown factor in this game, so I hope that SSG don't come in thinking, damn, Matt, this is easy for the taking, boys, because that overconfidence may be what comes back to bite them. Now, I'm sure you can tell us loads about bans, though. Can you talk us through this?
I mean, the Monty ban, like, Monty, since the buff, it's just crazy, right? Like, that's an obvious one. But I think more about what you said, like, ITB have had more time off as well than SSG, because SSG came from the LCQ. So I think that, again, is going to play a big factor into the game. But yeah, I mean, Monty and Ying is just defaulting it at this point, so...
What's there more to say?
Not much to talk about here. Looking for a Valk ban? Valk ban, guys?
You want a Valk ban?
A lot of verticality on console. I like playing the Valk on there in rank. Get the cams up above, particularly if you're in Garage. Get them in and around Piano Expo. If they do take that ground, then you're looking for nitros, you're looking for fights. Plenty of work that can be done, like you say. But it's going to stay up, so we might see a little bit of it. Fenrir's, I mean, the bans don't get any more default than that, right?
I mean, Solus is Valk's cousin, I guess. Info operator. So I was half right.
You're really trying to give yourself credit for getting a ban completely wrong.
Concept genius, as I said.
Wouldn't be surprised if introducing the Valk getting picked up, and equally on the other side, some IQ being marched along. I think especially once you start looking at the, this kind of level of competition in the part where D2s are present, you start thinking about IQ, and a lot of teams will bring that along. They don't mind bringing it in specifically to deal with the Valkyrie. Please tell me you caught that, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you.
But to be honest, like you said, IQ is one of these top picks now, especially since all these nerfs that came in last season. But one thing I like about ITB here is they've brought the Vigil along, because Deimos is so powerful on this map, like 3 floor verticality, a lot of roaming going on. Deimos is like a really key operator, and what counters Deimos? Vigil. So I'm loving that.
Freed's playing it as well.
It's straight from round 1 as well, right? It's like no hesitation. Let's go for it round 1.
Why not get straight into it? And I do expect we'll see quite a bit of roaming around the map here as well. Not like you're going to find ITB wilting away. Of course, we had that banger between BDS and Furia earlier. They did see quite a lot of sites sitting and waiting for the executes to come through and then looking to counter in kind. Whereas here, I think things like the Decay being brought along last second by Ashen, smart idea as well.
Yes.
Now they've identified there is a Vigil on side, and Creed is playing. I tell you what, I've seen so many clips of this rat spot. Laxing is the worst for it.
Laxing's the main perpetrator.
Oh,
He's just speaking my language right now.
He started a contagion. It's a problem.
Creed is just going to hold himself inside of this door. Pulse goes up on that. He's ready for it. Pulse is watching that angle. He's well aware of the potential for a little run out there from Creed as well. Can do it quickly with the impact in hand, but probably not going to get an opportunity, so I think he'll probably just try and disappear off into the bowels of the map a little bit and keep himself off the radar for a while until the rest of the round really gets going.
There's a bit of respect as well being shown out towards all sides of the map here as well. The consideration of windows. You know that Creed is on the map. Maybe you don't know where he is in this case, but just being mindful, you might find yourself, 60 seconds into the round, someone's going for a little bit of a late, not really spawn peak, but look outside. Concept one of the more punishing maps for that style of play, I think we tend to see.
It's a bit surprising, to be honest. Like, CO is one of the most easy defended bomb sites, and they're playing 2 guys off-site, the Vigil and the Valk, so they maybe have some plan here to counter the aggression, maybe the Buck going below. That's some information that they've had, but typically speaking, CO, you usually see 4 or 5 guys above, right?
Is it maybe just looking at a team like SSG who can be quite methodical, quite slow-paced, and maybe just trying to burn out a bit more time? Here's some problems around the map, go and solve them.
I mean, here you go. They've VOD reviewed, they've seen the Buck goes below to do that. They've sent 2 guys to kill him. It's pretty good so far, and like, Vigil being one of them is so annoying, right? Like, you can't really find where he is. He's always going to be a pain. So, yeah, like this looks like some good prep from Kangaroo Kenny. Oh, never mind.
I was about to say, straight in there for a second. Pulse hops back out immediately once the smoke starts to come on through. But now we've really got the guns starting to fire off. Iconic collecting Azra as well. A good trade coming back the other way, but only 3 left standing for ITB. A bit thin on the ground here, Tim.
Yeah, the problem now is that they could be facing a 3v2 on site, essentially, because there's no real direct route for Creeds to get back here. They're sort of aware that he's around Piano Expo. They're going to try and hold him in that position, so there could be an opportunity for SSG to just play a little bit of aggression in towards site here and start taking some ground.
Yeah, I think this is big danger zones because they've obviously called it Vigilus below, so I don't see how ITB can claw this one back, to be honest.
Well, never say never. We've seen some madness on the last map, and it may well proceed here as well. And Creed's working his way up towards Spiral here. No doubt SSG going to have a bit of a read on this. At this point, Oscar's found one. Forest falls down. Knows that one's coming in for the plant. Has smoke on side as well. Out it comes. Iconic, I don't think eating any of this. In fact, that's a lie. He didn't start to. Creeds for a second. Thought he was going to miss the lot. But with the plant going down, Ashen's the only player left standing up here on 2 feet with the gunner put the ready. Right sort of idea. He's got to go, and he's got to go now. But turns a little bit on the dime. And Ashen gets the close out there. SSG with a good and convincing first round.
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, looked pretty fast. Oh. All right.
That's going to happen a lot, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, but the one thing I want to take away is just what I said before. It looks like some good prep's been made by Kangaroo Kenny, the ITB coach, to counter them, because that was like obvious plan made from Creeds and Azure there in the round. So if that's what's to come in the next couple of rounds, I think we're in for a game here, to be honest.
I've got a question for you. When players shout, Ashen especially, when they're screaming, how much of it do you hear as a player sat on the other side?
I don't think I've ever heard anyone scream, scream at me, to be honest, yeah. Apart from Alamal, that's all I hear, because he's on my team.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
And that's annoying.
I was just curious at how much your mics might pick up on the other side, but if none of it kind of feels like wasted effort.
Not really. Sometimes you can hear it, but it's more like who's yapping type of thing.
Who's yapping? Dog barking.
3k for Ashen in the round, and you just feel like maybe if Kendrew can find that kill on the Warden inside of sight, you lose Ashen on the connector window, your roam game then, you've got that extra man over so you can leave Creeds out there longer, they can cause more of a problem. I think it massively comes down to that entry kill in that round, and like you say, I think the prep was good, and maybe just the execution letting ITB down a little bit. For anybody who's joining us, maybe conscious that we've got people now, of course, from every region watching us that we're here at the Major. If you're not too familiar with ITB coming out of EUL, they placed third overall in the groups. A newish team that have been put together. We've got some brand new players on there like Creeds. I would pretty much say set EUL on fire along with Adrian, two of the best rookies that we've seen. Absolutely fantastic players, and they're definitely a team to watch out for. Not a lot of major or LAN experience. Kendrew, of course, been to a couple of invitationals, but beyond that, a little bit limited, and that's going to be another factor to see how quickly they can get up to speed with that.
That's my big red flag for ITB. Like, are they going to fall under the pressure of a LAN environment? Maybe in phase 2 it's going to be a little bit chill for them, but I think as the tournament progresses, we're really going to see how good they are. Because I think I was really surprised in EUL as well. Like, they were played great. Now is the real test.
Well, at this point, Creeds has really got himself painted into a bit of a rock and a hard place sort of scenario. He's got a couple of mute jammers around Coppin, for example, to support him. But as the pressure has built up, has then got himself out the window, back in downstairs, supported by the Azami. I know it's going to fall for it as well. He stayed a bit too long, even if Creeds got away with his life.
Unfortunate for Noah, really. He's there to back his teammate up, and he's the one ultimately that takes the punishment. J9 manages to pick up Oscar, and once again, SSG just coming in super strong at the beginning of the round, getting the entry, backing it up, getting that two-man advantage rather than allowing for trades. They're going to be getting that garage wall open now, and things are not going to get any easier for ITB from here.
Yeah, I mean, they now need to make a decision. Do we stay and we fight the 3v5, or do we go back and try and use these 2 C4s? Well, no, 1 C4. They've just wasted one. So I mean, this round is looking pretty rough on the side of ITB, to be honest. So much vert coming in from SSG as well. They're going to rip up the floor, and it's going to find really hard to play on site here. So I think they've got to go for some coordinated flank here.
And they've still got so much utility left as well. I'm looking mainly at the Decay call in back pocket here alongside the Capital, of course, on the Jackal track as well. When there's 3 players left, it's only going to be even more potent. And with half the round still to play, we had a minute and a half when they came down to a 5v3. They can take the time with this. They know the focus is the site, but you can start thinking about, like you said, the vertical control, getting the main breach opened up, really engineering a plant here, knowing that ITB have got 2, I guess, typically power spots, or at least spots that you want to play in the execute, removed away from them because they're down 2 players.
I like this from SSG. They're using the time that they've got. They're consolidating that advantage, and they're not getting carried away. They're not in the 5v3 thinking, let's just rush into site. They're still taking the steps. They're still doing their job and looking forward for kills. Kendrew knows there's going to be a couple pushing him from bottom of yellow. He's going to try and hold on to this power position at pillar, and he could be in a real spot to try and help here, but the Capitao fire is going to do the job. Iconic dealing with Kendrew. That allows Forest in. The cover is great from SSG. SSG. The smoke is in place. They've got everything they need, but they never dealt with Azza on the flank. He picks up one, but that's all he's going to get before that diffuser goes down. 40 seconds left to go. Creeds and Azza with a huge task ahead of them.
And they had a good spot there to get that flank from above, but just nothing being given away by SSG. Maybe one kill could have gone their way, but everything is in their control. They've got the breach, a nice shot from Creeds. However, he also hits the deck. Azza with it all to do has found one for himself, but again, the trade play is there. Just like we saw from our last game, Tim, BDS Fury, these beautiful 2 or 3 man bits of team play. You're seeing the same from SSG, and ITB are really struggling to break that down.
Yeah, I mean, that capital use was really strong there. Yeah. I was just about to say, I'm surprised that the Thermite was playing flashbangs and not smokes, because smokes are so strong for pushing in that garage breach. But iconic, maybe make more words. Capital from the vert, that was genius. Cutting off the rotates, the way they cleared the guy in the pillar, that was so strong.
I have another question for you. Do you turn in-game chat off for all of the opponents?
You can't. You can't turn it off.
You can't turn it off?
No, you can't turn it off when you're on the land build. You can try and mute them.
Where Ashen maybe can't be heard over voice is at least standing there and saying in all chat, headless chickens. He's giving it large. Of course he is. That's what he does.
To be honest, I think this is a really great time for a timeout here, because losing 2 rounds straight off the bat, and they've been pretty convincing rounds from SSG. It's, you know, you need to start pulling your consulate defenses together here, because when you go to that attacking side, you're going to realise that these guys can shoot back as well.
Looking at that last round, we saw Azza playing really, really deep out at the back of Archives on the mirror in the 3v5. It took him right till the end of the round to get back up and get back into the fight. Do you think he maybe left that, didn't maybe play it aggressive enough? We had sort of faults in there. There was maybe an opportunity for a fight to be taken and make SSG look the other way.
I mean, you can't blame him for trying these things in a 3v5, right? Like, in my mind, the round's lost already. You got to just do a miracle play. But
that sounds like a losing mentality to me.
Well, that's why I'm
3v5 the rounds on, we're out. That's it.
That's why G2's out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The results speak for themselves.
But like I said, imagine if you had that C4 there, could have denied the plan. Yeah. You know what I mean? But these are all hindsight things. You think about that as a player after you lose a round, like, what if I didn't go for that flank? What if I stayed on site? Because, you know, as a player, you're seeing 3v5, but that 3v5 comes into a 3v4 very quickly. And if you die and it's a 2v4, you know, these rounds could be caught.
Such a hard balance
to find.
Do I go? Do I? How much does that play on your mind? Do you allow that to change your game? Or is it just, no, I've got to live with, you know, that was the decision and I'd make the same one again, because otherwise you sort of end up constantly second-guessing yourself, I guess?
No, I mean, I think it's completely dependent on round-by-round, situation by situation, and that's why, like, you know, the longer you're in a team, the better you get at these situations. Like, one thing we are really good at right now is clawing back from a 4v5 disadvantage and winning the round, and that is just overtime experience. Like, basement defense, can you win a 4v5? Can you win a 3v5? You know, like, it's these things.
It's one thing I'm looking at from this round, really, is seeing if we can see the team play from ITB tighten up as well, because I know I keep coming back to that last game, but really BDS and Fury, that pedestal team that you want to look at and say, okay, what a team's not doing that puts them on their level. And a big part of it for me across those first 2 rounds is ITB are roaming as individuals, right? Think back to previous rounds from that previous game, Tim, and we saw so much team play coming out. Constant 2 or 3 man cute little plays, swings to cover a retreating player. We saw the attempt out of Noah, admittedly, in the previous round, but more of that for those that are out by themselves, I think is what really needs to come together, because SSG are that kind of team that will very happily send 3 players after you, kill you inside 15 seconds, and then carry on like nothing was ever amiss.
Yep. I'm hoping this Amaru doesn't make a crazy play here, because I don't know if you've seen, he came from bottom yellow instead of top yellow, so the guys that are playing close and connector will have no idea he's there. Usually if you drop the skylight, you're like, okay, there's a guy here, might be a shotgun. Like, these guys are totally unaware for it. So if Ashen plays his time right, well, yeah, if Ashen plays his time right, I think he's going to pull off a backstab here when the guys go for a plant. Could be really dangerous for that shotgun.
Has got 2 bearing down on him, mind you, at the same time. You've got Kenny with the shield in hand, and Noah also playing across here, as you can see. But sure enough, he's found him and waited and really let Kenny be the one to step across, takes his freebie and backs off down yellow. That now is going to be a little bit of a panic station from Noah, who could get pressure from seemingly anywhere. Oscar getting at least one back onto Iconic, 4v4.
Noah's going to keep and try and hold on to this hatch and the verticality above SSG. At the minute, not really choosing to necessarily go and completely clear him out, maybe looking confident that they can actually just hold him from below. All they need to do is create a pocket of space inside a site where they've got that bit of safety and they can get that diffuser down.
A lot of patience being shown is the way that I'll give it to Ashen, to be fair. Like, hasn't got impatient here and tried to make anything too crazy happen. And piece by piece, SSG will just keep on collecting scalps. Already again back into that same position as before. 4v3 becomes a 4v2, down to a 3v2. It's a lot of work for the boys of ITB to get done here. It's not looking good, Doki.
No, I mean, like you said, Ashen doing nothing is his best factor right here because this happens. If the guy that was playing top yellow, I think it was the Warden, he's so scared the whole round. Is Amaru going to push? Is he going to push? Is he not going to push? Like, this plays a complete mental game. So the fact that he played that really safe and he only backstabbed when he needed to, he was able to pick up that kill on the guy and meeting and ultimately completely won on the round.
Trying to get into a spot to get rid of Forest here as well, but he's so tucked in and also protected as well that it can't be ignored. He's tried what he can do, but it's going to get completed, Tim. 3v1.
Yeah, a lot of work here to do. One
Nice
versus three doesn't even make it through the door as Ashen's there. Another great round from Ashen. We've seen it a couple of times now. He had the triple kill in the first round. He's come in there and, like you said, just played that Amaru absolutely beautifully. Just every element of it, even entry into the building, positioning, timing, you know, that mental game towards the end when he's just playing back and forward on Noah. Great stuff from
This
him.
happens all the time.
Yeah, Fultz.
Now Fultz is in chat saying pants are getting it shat.
It may be true, to be honest. If I'm ITB, this is not looking good at all. Consulate, as I said in the pre-game, when you pick the defense, you should be winning your 4 rounds, your 5 rounds, you know what I mean? Like, these things should be coming together, and when you're looking at the enemy team, like 6-0 or after 3 rounds, it's not looking good.
The thing is as well, just coming onto LAN, we've said about, you know, how is that going to impact RTB as a team? They maybe don't have that much experience, Kendrew being the, you know, the main part of that experience. You come in, you're against SSG, who've been here, done that, like, countless times, you know, 3-0 down. How much is that playing in your mind as well?
You know what I love about this, by the way, real quick side point? You've got the player pose on lock even when
Oh, sorry. Well, you can see me.
She'll do it then. How's your exact alignment of this? It's left over right.
Yeah, that's my player pose.
That's it, cool.
Looks pretty good, actually, guys. Maybe we should swap jobs.
Yeah, we can do if you want. I'll don the jersey, the mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
I can't guarantee you'll do any better at next
Get me on the thermite.
That's a good point, to be fair. You get him on support. We'll sort it out. But again, more of the same chaos being brought along. Again, that Decavy's been ever present as well. The Grim on side here. Everything to me is starting to scream, at least with this comp, very execute focused.
But also really good from ITB. They've went away from that roaming below and they've changed the Vigil to an Azami. Super strong to play in the Baguette area. Around bathroom window can really cause a lot of havoc for the attack there. So it looks like they've got a grip of themselves and realised that SSG are playing really fast. So they've then took the operators they need to counter that. You've got the Goyo, the Azami, and even a Smoke. Like, Smoke's going to be so strong to deny that CEO window plant, and that's what they did last round.
So far, every entry kill has gone towards SSG. The round has then been converted. So again, ITB, that's something they're going to be able to do to really help themselves here, is A, not give away a life in the first minute and a half, but also, if they can, come away with that first kill and just put SSG on the back foot a little bit, give them something to think about. So far, it's really felt like this has been all SSG's game. It's been down to SSG when to push, where to push, how to push. And ITB, they need to start playing their game rather than SSG's.
I think it's very much that. They've realised that almost playing the roaming game also hasn't worked out too well for them. What if we dig in a bit deeper, as Doki said, and slow things down against a team trying to go fast? And fast they are trying to go. A couple of kills. Creed is out there. Finally gets traded out, but it did take 3 players to bring him down in isolation. Oscar also hitting the deck as Forest is also picked up. A first time go here, I think, for ITB, where they're finally looking in control, Tim.
Az has got one inside of the little cubby there. He knows that the push is going to come. Turns his back maybe at the wrong time, but it doesn't matter because Kendrew and Noah are both there backing him up and just hitting that turtle defense. Exactly what ITB needed to get that done. Great adaptation.
I was looking if he was making noise and I heard a shout and I was like, not ITB is making noise, it was Kangaroo Kenny going, yeah, come on!
Yeah! I mean, that's what you need in a coach, right? Like, that's the complete motivation that's going to bring a team like ITB back. Because you can see the look on their faces. They're not looking so chuffed with themselves, are they?
No.
So you do need a bit of that. And I think a couple of more rounds like that and we could have a game here because, you know, that was a complete contrast to the first 3 rounds. So they finally got a grip on how SSG are playing. And that's so important to realise that mid-game. So whoever's made that call to stop playing these roam strats and play more back, these calls will win you the games. And that's what a lot of teams don't realise. So like having someone on their team from ITB that's able to do that might sound really simple, but it's actually not. So props to that.
I wouldn't so much call it like an ego thing, but do you think some teams look at it and go, oh, if we sit back, we're giving up all this map control for free, we're not pushing into them, for example. Do you think some teams will take that approach and go, no, we have to roam, we have to be aggressive, then it costs them essentially like it has done a little bit here?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've seen that for the first CEO defense, their plan was pretty good. They had an idea, but just executed it poorly. So I think now they've started to go, let's go back to defaults. Maybe not so much ignore the preparation, but, you know, keep it in the back of your head instead and seeing what's driving the round. So I think, yeah, let's see what happens here. Where are we? In the basement.
That's where we are indeed. And last time around, it was that vertical control that really got taken over. Let's not forget, though, SSG did get those first couple of kills, and they just played out a 5v3 very carefully from that point on. It's going to come down to those entries again, I think. How much do ITB give away in the early round?
Yeah, I mean, we know that SSG are going to be methodical, and like you say, ITB have come in with a plan for that. But I think, you know, it's as we've seen out of a couple of teams over the years, Virtus Pro, you know, quite recently, Empire in the not too distant past, you know, these teams that will come out and play that sort of game of, look, you can prepare for us. You can know what we're going to do. Yeah. But the thing is, we're just going to do it really well. We're just going to do it really well. We're going to be really tight, which SSG are at the minute. They're not really making many mistakes. Nope. They're not giving ITB many opportunities, as we saw in the first round. They didn't give anything up to the Roamers.
They're also not needing to make mistakes.
No, exactly.
ITB are making them for them.
And so like you say, I think maybe trying to lean into, right, we've got prepped, we've got counter-stratted, maybe isn't going to work because SSG are just doing what they do too well.
Yep. I mean, it looks like they've doubled down ITB on their strategy here. We've changed the cap can, the mira for a cap can, sorry. Oh, almost.
Nice attempt.
Nice attempt, yeah. But I was going to say they have so many C4s. So
it's in one way or another.
If I'm ITB right now, I'm starting to fall back a little bit and not make them level this round out because you've got the opening kill already. You get 3 C4s on the board. Like if SSG repeat what they did last round, you're going to be able to deny that plant.
And it's something in the world, but it's still the buck you're taking away as well. Now, really, all the attention turns towards Fultz for getting the verticals opened up on the Ram. Of course, very adept at doing that. But we were speaking about this earlier on about like bans coming through, for example, and we saw it on the map earlier on upstairs when we were talking. You were saying a book ban, genius sort of thing to bring out. Here, at least, that being taken off alongside the Capital means that vertical threat and the execute threat has really been diminished here. So a total flip to the last time we saw this map. I mentioned that it was 5v3 to SSG before. Now it's the reverse. ITB are the ones in control.
And now that ITB have got that man advantage, they can leave somebody out on the roam. They can take 4 back to site and still have one out there that's going to be pestering SSG and not allowing them to use that verticality. So SSG really going to have to be thinking on the feet at this point about how they do it, and losing another one to Azza is not going to be ideal. We see ITB, that's enough. We're back to site. They know they can hold on to this.
Think about the key difference in this roam though, right? Think back to earlier rounds when Creed was alone and admin on the mute, right? Here you've got a pairing running around together the entire round. You know, they've not been alone in isolation. They've been out there looking to try and make damage happen as a unit. Not really been required, as it has all come down to Azza just landing a few nutty shots on the go, and now they see everything because of the Barrett. The C4 comes out, it's all too easy.
A big key difference in this round, I don't know if you noticed that first round they had the piano hatch reinforced whilst roaming, meaning that the roamers can't fall back, they have to fight the roam. They've changed it this round and opened it up and gave them that opportunity. If the roam goes well, you know what, let's fall back, exactly like they did. Or if the roam doesn't go well, the players who are still alive, they don't need to sacrifice themselves so much and then come back. So it's a lot better thought out for the whole round and multiple different attacks that SSG could bring.
I think that's really smart play from Fultz there. I'm guessing that Nitro has been put on the diffuser because they'll have it on the cam. Fultz kind of took a breath towards it and then thinks, you know what, I'm having no part of that. I'm just going to go for the kills. I think that's, you know, Fultz's experience really kicking in there, saying, I know exactly what they're going to have done here. I don't have time to try and find the vault cam. I'm just going to have to go into site and see what I can find. 1v4, it's not going to be easy. Manages to pick up the first with a beauty onto Kendry, to be fair, right across the length of the site. He's going to find a second in the same spot if he keeps looking, but no, he knows that there's going to be somebody. Pillar tries to swing, but Creeds is there to find that final kill, and it looks like ITB, with a couple of rounds under their belt now, are really starting to warm into this.
Yeah, I mean, as you see, like, a couple of smiles on their face. They're smiling, guys. They're smiling. So, I mean, yeah. It's looking better for them right now. Kenny's talking back in the chat.
Of course he is.
ITB are activated. The Nations shut his mouth. All right.
I wonder what he was referencing to, but as you can imagine, SSG haven't got too much to say at the moment. 2 rounds on the back now. They found themselves falling short, and convincingly so. You know, again, ITB have really tightened things up a little bit here. Willing to fall back, willing to get themselves in a spot where they can play with this trade-based play on the roam, and it's given SSG problems. Boom.
Beauty of a Nitro. It's exactly what I said. If you've got the Valk and you're defending down, you just get a couple of cams up in piano and exposition, you're almost certainly going to get a Nitro opportunity, because you know at some point that they're going to be taking a little bit of control of that area. And they just played it absolutely beautifully. I think, for me, the real takeaway from that round is ITB using right things, right time. So out on the roam, made it work. Got a couple of kills. Drop back, Nitros, made them work. What have we got? How can we use it? How do we get the most out of it? And they did it really well.
Kangaroo Kenny's loud, isn't he? Kangaroo Kenny's really loud.
See, you'll maybe have a little bit more sympathy. When you're screaming in the playbooth, you'll think, oh, hang on, Des and Ace are going to be having a tough time at this. They won't be able to hear anything else.
Now you know
over
how
there.
Yeah.
To be fair, I haven't heard Ashen too much so far.
No.
Admittedly, like normally we hear him all the
Well,
time.
he's not had much to shout about the last couple of rounds.
He's had a reason to be
SSG
quiet.
have gone quiet over the last couple of rounds.
They have done. Hopefully they can see themselves getting something out of this round, getting themselves up to a 4-2 half of it. They'll feel great about that going on to the defensive piece of it. ITB have a chance to balance things out at 3-3, and that will feel like a smash and grab given they were down 3-0.
It's a really important round, and again, ITB have completely changed their strategy. Last piano defense, they were going for the Maestro cams or the Vault cams to deny the plant. So much info in sight. It looks like they've gave it up this time, and they're playing more for, you know, actual gunfights, actual positions. They don't want to give up things they don't need to give up.
So they've got 3 up on the top floor instead of 2 this time. Asa looks like he's got a shield out towards Yellow Stairs. I'm assuming that's going to be in direct response to Ashen on the Amaru last time, sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think they had the shield last time as well, but the problem was, I think Kenny was playing in front of the shield.
Yeah.
So that's a bit counterproductive. But hopefully he'll learn from his mistake.
Hope so. At least one in the central hallway control. Oh, wasn't sure. There's a part on top. Ashen's coming pretty aggressive here as well. He's got to be wary of it as well. The player towards the left, keep himself okay for now. Look at his hot drop as well.
Oh, wow.
Genius play. Oscar caught out there, really slipping through the net, and Ashen with a bit of pace. Well, that's going to sting.
That was good. I think he just said to himself, I'm so good as well. If you watch the face cam back. That was a great play. And you know what? You have to give props to Ashen. Like, he's a young guy. A lot of players are not going to do plays like that in a LAN, because that could be a complete game-winning or game-losing play. So, you know, props to him. That was a really aggressive thing, but I think it was a total right decision to do in this situation.
What I really love about him is seeing him just kind of improve and grow as time goes by as well. Like, I think last year when we first saw him come in, he was kind of like, you know, this amazing IGL, but not too many celebrated his gun skill. But I think at least so far at this competition, he really is starting to put up those numbers, really starting to show this player that he could still yet grow to be.
8-2 so far. I mean, he's had those couple of strong
He's not in my
rounds.
fantasy team, so I'm livid.
Couple of 3Ks. I've got J90, so, you know, if Ashen could calm down and let J90 pick up a couple, it wouldn't be the end of the world.
We were going
for
to
me.
pick you, and then someone took you instead. So we were the last pick.
Oh, well,
I had
congratulations.
I had Doki through a lot of EUL, to be fair. He
To
got
be fair, mate, Secret Agent Doki has done work in the fantasy league. That's why we're at top. Well, no, you sucked, and that's my whole point. You sabotaged the competition. So me and Tim are now at the top. We didn't pick any G2 players.
You're welcome, I guess.
Thank you, mate. Really appreciate it. Doing the Lord's work.
Iconic's going to be getting the diffuser down. They've managed to create a little bit of space inside of sight here, and the verticals aren't working for them. Kenny with the nitro down the hole, though, finds his man. Creed's onto J90, and ITB have just shown the importance of that verticality. 10 seconds left to go. Forrest, he's going for it again, but he's going to be successful this time. However, the verticality comes in on top. Creed's down the hatch to find the kills, and ITB all the time in the world to disable that diffuser.
So Leslie just like, drop my C4.
Oh my, that was a very, very close C4. The bomb was almost planted.
There was a fraction of a second remaining.
We'll see it on the replay, I'm sure.
I don't
We'll see
know,
how
maybe
close
they
it
didn't
came.
realise it was going down or where, I don't know, but it was definitely very late in the process.
I wonder how they knew how he was there. They didn't have any info, I don't think, on site. It must have just been a complete, like, C4 the smoke situation. They've smoked the floor, C4 it. I don't know. That was well played from Kendra, at least.
We'll see on the replay in a second, I imagine, exactly how much time they had left on that plant going down, because it did come down to a matter of milliseconds. Things that you love to see as viewers, maybe less those players in the game, I can only imagine.
Well, it's always got to be painful, I'm sure, you know, when you know that you're sort of a fraction of a second away, but that gives us a completely even split to kick things off then, and what a way it's been. Space Station come in with a really solid start, 3-0. They were very loud about it in the game as well, and ITB, this is the ITB that we've seen in EUL. They're a team that aren't scared if they go behind. I think they've got a lot of belief in the system, a lot of belief in the process, and they're happy to just trust it and just carry on with what they're doing regardless of what's happening on the other side. And they fought their way back in, 3-3 at the split, and they now move on to the attack.
Creeds as well, man. Like, we saw him go nuke it. Take this out.
It's here, just into the smoke. Yeah, maybe a little bit of a sound up there as well. I can hear the diffusers going down. It must be somewhere there. And the thing is, you know, if the nitro's inside a smoke, it's going to get the job done.
I wonder if he realised how close it was.
Yeah.
Probably not quite, but my God, has it done the work? As you say, that 3-3 half is what we love to see. Onwards we career within a very even scoreline. Ready for you first. We'll go into overtime, Jack.
You think?
Jack, if we have that line.
You can call me Jack.
Yeah, but Jack.
Is that what you'd like?
I'd like
Jack
that.
there? You see, because people I hate saying stuff like that, but people, when they cast with me, seem to get quite excited about it. They're like, oh, I've been hoping you say it because they want their name in it, you see. So I'm quite happy to do
I've
it
heard my
for
name in
you
it enough
with
now. You can say someone else.
Doki or Jack, whichever you prefer.
Pick a random name. Just put Steve in there
To
for
be
a bit of
honest,
fun.
I don't mean to burst your bubble, but I don't really care.
Okay,
Going to
that's
overtime,
fine.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Just looking for a good game here, so yeah.
Well, the player's always about the game. Here he is.
I don't
Killjoy.
know.
I think this round is really important for ITB because it's like, you know, if you lose it 3-4, slowly becomes 3-5, and their game starts to slip away. So they've done a good job getting the 3 rounds on defense. I think could be better, but you know, now this is the LAN. They've got to have their first attack together as a team. It's always going to be the hardest part, seeing what kind of communication, coordination we have. So let's see what they have in store for us.
He's just waiting off. J9 knows got the right sort of idea. Skylight challenge at least there for a second, but never exposed himself too far towards it. It's enough again to kind of put the Warrior thing in ITB. Okay, then that's not a fully protected and locked off angle here. Got to be mindful of that. But more than anything else, it's about trying to get to the site with as many of these alive as possible, especially Oscar on this Capitao. Whenever you see that Capitao, so essential when it comes to an execute, I think. That gets picked off early. A lot of the wind is taken out of your sails, and it's again, okay, then what do we do now? Do we go back to basics and try and make this work with guns up? So really, I think keeping themselves alive in the early round is the pivotal part. They've done it for a good 2 minutes, but haven't found anyone on the other side just yet.
Ashen always going to hold on to that angle. He's, you know, a smart player. He's got the shotgun. He knows he's going to take it on the close encounter and manages to get his man. Kenny is there for one of his own, though, just to at least keep that man count even. 4 versus 4. But time is going to start becoming a factor for ITB here because it just doesn't feel like they've got enough control yet.
Planting smoke.
I don't know how Oscar's been able to go on top floor.
I mean, he's got away with it, and they've also got the cover coming through as well. Another one falls down, and sure enough, this one gets stuck. Like Kenny just walking in, dropping a smoke in the middle of the room and going, yeah, this one's mine. Nothing to be done on the vertical. It's enough distraction upstairs that J9 can do nothing about it. And now there's a very precarious situation for SSG to win back. They need this top floor, but even with it, Tim, they can't do enough.
No, it's going to be very difficult for them from here because you've got now that 20 seconds for ITB to set up the post plant as well. They're not just having to fight reactively. They've got themselves into positions that they want to be in. Oscar manages to pick up one. Kendrew onto the second, and these kills speak to what I was saying. They were there, they were ready, they pick them up. Azza with the final, and that's great from ITB. They've just seen an opportunity there, Doki, and they've just gone in and taken it.
But if you watch that back, Oscar has went through meeting with Capitao. There's no defenders anywhere near him.
That was definitely a waddle.
And 10 seconds later, you go back, there's 2 defenders in meeting. Where did they come from? I don't know.
That's unbelievable. And more the round end is what got me. Like, Kangaroo Kenny's a really charismatic guy. I love speaking in interviews, but he's never struck me as a loud guy. And when you said you were worried about how they were going to respond when they got to land for the first time, he's giving it large. He's up there.
I think it's just the name Kenny in general.
Oh, it's
Kangaroo Kenny. They're both going for it.
Look at
him as well. He's going to screw at them.
There's a bit of me really hoping that ITB play Dark Zero at some point.
Oh, mate. Kenny versus Canadian.
Yeah.
Woo.
I'm here for it. I'm living for it. But back to the round there, like, how do SSG sort of allow ITB into the middle of sight like that? They've got the warden upstairs. They're able to plant inside a smoke. There's a couple of mistakes there.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like ITB were going for like a kind of split theory, kind of split play, like three. Oh, sorry guys, sorry. Like 3-2, like two groups of people working together, and it seemed to work. Like two groups of people were working to take above control, or at least bait above control, whilst the rest of them. Whilst the rest of them were working for more of a site execute, and then 3-2-1, everything just worked together, and I guess that's how Oscar slipped through.
So it's kind of just make a load of noise over here, whilst we've got the real thing going on down here.
Pretty much.
The thing is, Jenner had the angle as well. We saw it when he had the floor opened up, and on the warden, he can see through the smoke. But if he's being pulled over here to take a gunfight...
That's the thing. It was smart.
Yeah.
And that's why I was confused, because I don't know what pulled the warden away. Like, realistically, he should have been there the whole round.
Or was he watching a different angle, not expecting someone to waddle into sight and drop down a smoke?
So much waddling going on.
Got a waddle comp. Des loves a waddle.
I hate the term, but Fresh made it stick in the stack. Now everyone else says it. I've got no choice. I've got to roll with the waddle. Do you guys say waddle?
I've never said waddle.
Well, now you said it now. You said it several times.
I've said it now.
You're so welcome. You're in the waddle club.
Very interesting to see the clash here, and a very unusual position for him as well in the middle of CEO.
They're just trying to kind of deny what... I wouldn't say it looks like a default, because normally you'd see a Ying for this, but obviously no Ying on side. But I'm seeing the Grim on side, for example. Of course, seeing the vertical power of Noah playing off on the Deimos. I wouldn't quite say it's a full ability to pull off like a window execute here, but the Clash at least has the ability to ignore a lot of the things that would otherwise stop you being able to play inside a CEO.
Yeah, I mean, the SSG are also playing with people below. I don't know if you've seen the piano was reinforced. So I guess their plan is to use the Clash to bait people into sight and do the work from below.
Oh, baiting complete. As are taken offline here on the ace.
Oh,
Kenny's making his march through. They really want this CEO push, and they're making it happen. However, a couple of kills come back the other way, despite Creed finding the one for himself, consistently finding himself, traded out here. So yes, Creed is finding the openings, but SSG are making sure he can't roll that into 2, 3, 4 kills very quickly.
It's going to be tough for ITB to get anything going realistically now. You're 2 versus 4, and Clash is one of those operators that the more attackers lose, the more powerful Clash becomes, because you know, there's no need now for Iconic to ever switch away from that shield. Doesn't need to take a part. There's spare players to do that for them.
Who did we see doing this? In fact, no, there was. In fact, it was when Fabian and Fresh and that having that fun scrim against Talon, but he was playing behind the shield, peeking out from the side of it, just taking some little pot shots. That's exactly what they've gone for, and they've used it brilliantly. As you say, that Clash getting stronger and winning out that 4v2 very comfortably.
Yeah, they were using the Clash as like a meter window almost. To like have that one-way advantage.
And it's so obnoxious because the worst thing is you can see the other side, but you can do nothing about it.
Yeah, you can do nothing about it. Yeah, because it's totally dependent on the other guy's mechanics to who judges the gunfight. It's not the other way around.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to use Clash, but obviously, like, easier to do that in a 2v4 than in a 5v5, for example.
Massively.
So you can't really have 2 guys stuck in a corner in a 5v5.
I was going to say, you can't commit 2 players towards that kind of play. Not quite when everyone's still alive and on side, but a comfortable round is probably how the best way to summarise that one. SSG not really looking too bothered at all. Very stark contrast to the prior, but 4-4, things still staying as tight as ever, Tim.
Yeah, these two teams very evenly matched at the minute. I think there was maybe I don't want to take it away from SSG, because I think in the first 3 rounds SSG played super well. They were really on it. They didn't make any mistakes. They didn't give ITB anything, and I think probably along with that, little bit of nerves for ITB. First match on LAN, everything, and they just weren't in a position to break down such a strong SSG. But I'm glad that they've found their feet now. Both teams are coming together. They've found a level that's very, very similar, and it's proving to be a really entertaining game between the two. And honestly, at this point, you just don't know who's going to come away with it, because, you know, a couple of rounds ago, round 7, we have ITB having a great round. They wander in, they get the plant down, it's all good. And then SSG come back with a round that themselves is fantastic, and ITB can do nothing about, and this is not going to be an easy attack onto the basement for them.
No, I mean, that's the thing with Consulate. Compared to other maps, you don't really have a weak bomb site. It's just totally dependent on how you play every situation. Like, you know, when you go to other maps, let's say like Clubhouse, you can say that CCTV is kind of hard to defend. Or it's, you know, here, this is the new impact change, that you can't impact the thermites on the breach anymore because the radius is smaller in the last patch. So I don't know why SSG are going for that. That's a completely impossible thing to do. So that might just be some bad preparation. I don't know.
You fancy part-time as a coach for the week? Be their 19th analyst if you want.
So I've done playing. I've played this major.
Yeah.
I've casted the major.
Yeah.
Well, I now need to coach the major.
Host the major.
Host the major.
Take over Milos's job.
To be honest, yeah. I can do it all.
Analyse.
I really can do it all.
We'll just put you in charge of the whole event if you want. You can be security on the door.
Produce. Security on the door, maybe not. That's maybe the one thing I can't do.
I mean, so you know your limits. That's fine.
I mean, my limits might be quite small, to be honest. But you know,
that applies to all 3 of us, mate.
Yeah, we do love to try. So.
Very good, very good. Right, see how the march on this round goes then. Halfway through already. No early deaths, and it's one thing I'll probably remark on the last few rounds. Haven't been those kind of crazy early jump outs or early aggression. It has been a little bit more measured between the 2 teams. And I'm looking at SSG's lineup here, as I say, they're halfway.
That's huge.
But looking in towards like the Capcan, in towards the Legion, in towards the Ella, everything is just about trying to play this very trap-based game, but they've got in, and the plant is going down. They're in smoke yet again.
Katro comes out, but it's not quite going to catch Kendra enough. It does a lot of damage, but he will then be downed as Iconic pushes through, recognising that he needed to make a move, but Noah is there for the trade. 4 versus 3. ITB have used this aggression well. They've gone into side. It's not quite gone to plan. They've not got the diffuser down. It is now down inside a site. But
Noah,
they're finding the kills on the back of it. Noah, he's like a hot knife through butter at the minute.
Still the 2 on side, mind you. I say that, and Boris with the leads it as well. Jane, I know, at least got a backstab, and he's got the vertical here. But the thing is, there's enough obstructions downstairs that ITB can play around this. As long as they don't give themselves too much away, they know where he is. They know they haven't got control, and Azza finds the closing kill. ITB back in front once again at 5 and 4.
I don't know if you noticed, but Noah's got the entry kill there onto the Azami, which is typically the pillar player. And the time that ITB took from getting that entry kill to instantly execute was so fast. And that was so good by them. Because think about it, you've killed Pillar. That's the really power position of the bomb site. If you give the defense time to rotate another player, then you need to go over another hurdle, which is extremely difficult already to do. So that was really well done by them to just instantly go from entry kill, here it is, into the execute right away. There was no hesitation.
And is that the sort of thing within a team that sometimes you'll have as like a preset? If we get that kill, we go for it, or is it like more of a spur of the moment? That's like maybe, you know, your RGL just calling that and saying the opportunity's there.
Yeah, I mean, probably different for all teams, but I think it's more so the second one that you said, like.
It's just how he walks up at the very end. I think it's Oscar. He's like, come on! And Oscar's just there, plain face, and just goes, yeah, fist bump.
Yeah, but I think that decision lies more with the individuals to say, okay, guys, I killed it, let's go, let's go, let's go. Smoke the vert, let's plant, don't waste any time. That was just really good job. And okay, they didn't get the plant off right away because Iconic made a play through the smoke, but you know, the idea was there. They executed it pretty well.
And that's kind of the belief. Like, I remember like, a few years ago, we moved from having like a very single like, IGL calls everything to this mentality where teams have all players that can call in, like you said there, oh, I spotted a gap, this is what we should go and do. It's that belief and trust in all 5 players to have that good decision making, right? It makes a bad call there, everyone runs in and just dies, and you're doomed. And Ashen's at least started things off. It's the ram taken away as well. Again, the vertical play fully removed here, almost in its entirety.
I think one thing I'm happy to see on the side of ITB is Azar and Creed's both doing really well. Because like that was, I think, the really big difference maker for ITB this season, and why they're here at the major is probably in the hands of people like Creeds and Azar, because they've had outstanding seasons. So it's good to actually see them putting up the numbers when it actually matters.
Even his rookie stage, he's coming and dropped what, like 5th highest rated, I think, overall in the EU. Is unbelievable as a first-time performance, and that's obviously referencing Creeds there. Azar, as you say, definitely not doing too bad either.
I think Azar is someone that maybe a lot of people watching who don't follow EU League is a bit unaware of. But Azar's actually been playing really, really great for multiple seasons now. If you look back at the stats of the past couple of stages, he's actually one of the top players in the league every stage. So I'm happy to see him actually at a major and doing well.
On to March. Still a little bit cheeky aggression coming out from SSG, looking at windows, waiting to find players outside. So not trying to get to him. I was going to say, Kenny really's on the way to make something special happen there, but unfortunately can't get away with it. Forrest hitting the deck here. Oscar should be able to find the finish. In fact, no, quite hit me the right way at the right time. He'll keep himself going, and Creed has got a great read. Another player coming on here. Ney coming out, maybe not quite the most effective tool there, but it does give him a little bit of space, and 2 more kills come through. How have SSG let this one crumble, Tim? They were at 5v3.
They're becoming one of these teams that don't know when they're beaten. It's like you can find yourself in a 3v5. Yeah, we've lost the blitz, we've lost the ram, we've lost all the things that we were probably shaping up to use to soften up sight and create space. But you know what? We'll create space by finding 3 kills. It's no problem. We're going to go in and just start taking them down one after another. Great stuff. Jane, I know he's going to have to drop the hatch back towards sight, and he's going to have to make a move. He manages to find one, but not the second, as Oscar's there for the trade, and ITB take themselves another round closer to their first win at the Manchester Major.
I'll tell you what, I want Kenny in the morning just saying,
I'm pretty loud.
In the shower now!
I'm pretty loud, but nowhere near Kenny. He's overshadowing even me.
Lord, a new loud entrant, just what we needed in this siege scene.
To be honest, this is some impressive stuff from ITB. I'm not going to lie. Like, I wasn't thinking I was going to see this team here. Yeah, like, again, they've lost the entry kill. Azar's been spun-peaked by Ashen. Ashen's typed good night in the chat. You know, he's confident. But they're able to rotate that 4-man into a really direct push and really fast again. I'm sure that wasn't their initial plan, but they've rotated into it and said, you know what, we can still do it with the guy dead. We can still do this as a man disadvantage. And that was beautiful, so that was great.
Their adaptability's been fantastic. Like you say, that ability, we saw it with the push, you know, we've killed Pillar, we've got the smokes out, let's go. Yep. We've seen it there again, right, we need a plan B, let's go. And, you know, whether those are preset or whether they're being called on the fly, either way, it's working fantastically. And, you know, this team are looking super confident at the minute with good reason. Interesting little stat. So Ashen picked up the entry kill back in round 1. And SSG won the round. He's then had 3 entry kills since then, in round 5, round 6 and round 10. And every time he's got the entry, SSG have gone on to lose the round, and that's specifically when Ashen has got the entry. There's no real reason for it, but...
Stats-based analysis there can be like, Ashen, stop getting the entry kill,
Stop getting the entry kill.
So hard.
You know, for one reason or another, it's not working. No, it's just an interesting little coincidence there.
I think if we look at the lineup here from SSG, it's not the best decision to run the same strat back. They've got the clash back again, and knowing how ITB operate, how we have Oh, what's Des doing?
We're on camera. I'm Paul Freshing.
Another Jack joins.
It's another Jack on Castillo, mate. You can say hello.
Hello.
There you go.
Just getting ready for the desk.
Yeah, go on, enjoy the desk then, mate. We'll enjoy the rest of the cast.
But yet, knowing how counter-heavy Kangaroo Kenny is on ITB, and just off the back of a timeout, you can be assured that Kangaroo Kenny has said to ITB, guys, if they go CEO and they do this clash strat again, do this, okay? And that is looking kind of what they're doing. They've got the Buck and the Deimos on sides of ITB. That's going to mean they're going to go below, try and clear this roam below of the guys that are going to play the C4s off the clash. And then after you've done that, the clash becomes useless because you can then kill the clash from the vert, and then you can plant the CEO window. So pretty good counter here, and I think really stupid decision from SSG to run the same strat twice.
Well, you tell him, Jack.
Sorry guys.
Stupid decision.
That's what maybe that's my coaching role.
That's your coaching impact for the week.
That's
So he's
my
doing
impact,
coaching and casting at the same time here. There's obviously can't hear it.
He's not used to the power of the caster curse yet, though. So you say these things, and then you see the exact opposite happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, time will tell. Time will tell.
SSG will be hoping, because at this point they need it. There's still 2 rounds. I've got to pull back.
Oh, but
Even
it's
forces
looking
towards
like
overtime.
Doki's right. It's looking like he's right.
Is he right here?
That's why I'm the concept genius, guys. I told you before.
Okay.
Creed is going to be working his way up to that piano door in a second. He's just getting that information fed back in from Kendrew now that he knows that there's somebody in closet. The choice is his as to whether he goes in for that challenge. But look at this, they're coming in from multiple sides, and it's as easy as that. Creed is not the threat. It's Azza who manages to pick up Fultz, but J90 is there for the trade. SSG keeping themselves in this one. They don't want to pick the fight with Ashen, with the shotgun on yellow stairs. They've already learned what happens when they do that. In fact, Ashen changes to the SMG. He's going chasing. He's looking for his man, but Noah manages to just back out in time.
That was close. It's actually pretty scary watching this as a player.
John, we
because
see this all the time and we're like, you are pixels
you
away.
don't realise how close it is.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Take this back into the game, mate.
Yeah. You see, like, this is the Clash what I'm talking about. They have the low control. Clash can't really do this. You're going to get shot from below. But ITB have made a decision to leave. Oh,
Okay.
I don't know how that's happened.
Okay.
But, okay.
And shot from below at the same
Yeah,
time.
and shot from below. So, guess who was right, Des?
All right, mate. Let's see if it wins the round first. God, get this one on one cast.
The only hope in grace is you have Asher on the smoke, but he has none left, so they could just plant here.
They got him from below, then.
Yep.
That's all they need is those 2 kills to come on through. Forrest has got it all to do, and based on how today has gone, it's going to be a hard job to shut these boys down. Tries to get in close, air jabs away, diffuser is stuck. This one looks like a closeout for the EU side of dominant 7-4 victory over SSG.
That was great. That was really great. I thought every attack there from ITB was just methodical, played out, and energetic. Look at these guys.
Oh, they're absolutely pumped at this point, and it's no surprise. Of course, ITB's first performance at a major. It's in Manchester. You know, it's going to mean an awful lot to these guys to get that first win locked out against a big name as well. I know it doesn't matter who you play. You've got to beat everybody. But coming in here, first match at a major against a team like SSG, who are 3-0 up, getting loud, and then you turn it around from there.
And then you get loud.
After that 3-0, SSG were only able to win 1 more round. ITB have really locked that out, and it's impressive stuff from them.
It's a good point to win 7 rounds on the bounce. It's unbelievable. And I know we spoke about him already a lot as well in the former Creed. 7 rounds on the bounce. So the 7-1 they won off the back of that from that 0-3 deficit. But we spoke about him a lot as well for Creed to go 15. Looking at us being really hot to step up here on pot on that kind. It's very promising. And like you said, Azza as well. Really all the. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, is ITB...
I guess they are.
I guess they are.
The British org, yeah.
Is this going to be the fan favourites, do you think, coming in?
A lot of support for ITB.
Yeah, I think so
I can't
too.
wait to take the chance for ITV. How'd you find your first cast, by the way, Doki?
I thought it was quite good, actually.
It's in that last round.
I'm always right, Tim. I'm always right. So, new there, but I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me. I hope I didn't butcher it that bad. But,
I've got an interview coming up with Kendra, I think, in just a couple of minutes as well, so we'll jump over to Kendra right now. See you in a bit.
Thank you very much. Doki, who would have believed it? Doki got to cast your game. I'm here, first of all, Milosh, with talk about this massive victory, not just for Into the Breach, the whole on home turf in the UK. How does that feel?
You got off to a shaky start, but I think we showed why it's
were definitely a bit more fired up than that at the end of that game. I saw you stay the other way. Was it specifically about Consulate?
No, I mean, I think any map that we went to, we would. I'm not gonna lie, they're a bit clueless. I mean, Consulate definitely helps us, but any.
Spacestation Gaming, more like Clueless Gaming. But why is that the case? Why do you feel that way?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like all of them, like they're a good team, but like I think they just don't match each other like at all. Like super aggro, and like it's weird. It's like it took us like a couple of rounds to get used to, and half it was like I think we only lost one round after that. So pretty much it was a 7-1 when we actually.
Fair enough. And what took you that moment to kind of warm up into it? The Breach might not be the top cream of the crop, but everybody works together like a well-oiled machine.
I mean, I think you've got to take into consideration a couple of them is that other than me and maybe some like lower tier UK lands, it's these guys, everyone on my team's first major event. So obviously nerves are going to be always there. If anything, it felt like I was maybe the most nervous. But yeah, I think it was just a little bit of nerves, really.
I mean, Kangaroo Kenny, your coach, was fired up behind you. Does that breathe more fire into your engines?
Well, I definitely fed off his energy, that's for sure. I mean, like I said before the game that I was going to be like a bit more mellowed, because I remember when I went to SI last year, we played Heroic first game, and I was screaming, and it took. I'm an old guy now. I'm 25. You know, like like it takes it out of me a little bit. So I was like, I'm gonna mellow down, and then he's screaming. I'm like, oh, you know what? Why not? Why not?
Let the kids have it.
Exactly.
Right. Fair enough. Well, Kendra, congratulations on the win against Spacestation Gaming. I'll let you have your time to rest up and kind of get prepared. Thank you, Kenny. To get prepared for your next best of one, but it's a good thing that I actually stepped in. Kangaroo Kenny, coach of Into the Breach, will join us on the analyst desk in just a bit. We'll have a chat with him and break things down. Again, congratulations. We'll see you in a few minutes.